ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the Geico restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Playoff racing is here again for the Lincoln Tech Fall Series, and we're here tonight to open up the Invets Xfinity Series Round of 12, right here, right now, on V-Speed. As always, we have to thank the series sponsors for helping us put together this show for you. Invets, building strong futures for Indiana veterans. Lincoln Tech, put your potential to work. And Save 22. Struggling? Let's talk. For everyone here at V-Speed, I'm Jacob Blinky. Here alongside me is Ken Huber. We've got Eddie Smith in the production booth and the talented Dougie Beard providing tonight's cameras.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Jacob, with you here. I noticed you were out last week. Missed a heck of a race last week, but I'm sure we're going to have a great one here tonight. We are going to start the playoffs. So you know it's going to be exciting down here at Richmond for these guys.
Yes, indeed. Y'all had a barn burner at Vegas. Peyton Howell ended up going 2 for 2 in races he's competed in GLR. It was great to see him stepping up, putting the hurt on all these good guys.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely see what he can do tonight. Maybe go for 3 in a row. While all these other guys, we got a long list of drivers trying to get into the final 8 here. So they got 2 races to go, and you can look at it right there. Our standings of McWhorter, Cofield, Whitley, Fall. You can see all the drivers that have made the playoffs. So those are the guys you're going to be watching tonight. And, you know, of course, if you get a win, you're in. And otherwise, you're going to have to point your way in.
Yep, those final 4 spots are going to be hotly contended at the bottom there. Everybody's scraping and clawing, trying to get themselves into the round of 8. Let's take a look at the track we're going to be running at tonight. A location that's been a mainstay on the NASCAR schedule since the year 1958. A short track nestled in Richmond, Virginia, plays host to Race 1 of the Round of 12. Current layout for the Richmond Raceway was conducted midway through the 1988 season. With 14 degrees of banking in the turns, this 3/4 mile D-shaped oval presents a historic challenge for our playoff drivers.
Challenge it is. I love this track here, Jacob. It's got a nice flow to it. It's very similar to Iowa, a little bit steeper in the banks, but there's a lot. It's fun to run a short track where you can actually run 2 and 3 wide, and it's not too many short tracks you say you can do that, but this track is notorious for that. Hopefully we can keep the cars out of the fence tonight and have a great race.
Yep, you can run 2 wide, 3 wide. There are different lanes that'll play strength to different drivers here tonight. But one thing that I've seen trip almost everybody up, that exit of turn 2. You think you can carry a little more speed out of there, get your foot on the pedal a little quicker? No, you're going straight from the exit of the corner into that inside wall.
Yeah, you got to be careful. It's all about managing that throttle pedal off 2 and then getting into the brakes a little bit earlier than you think going into 3. And it's kind of us getting the car to settle in and hook up on the bottom there, usually going into 3. But you'll have guys that'll try to go 2 and 3 wide on the exit of 3 and 4 and come across the start-finish line racing back into turn 1 and 2, where they're going to want to get back to at least 2 wide for that turn. Let's talk about our race analysis before we get started here. So we are looking at 120 laps here tonight at Richmond. Pit road speed of 40 miles an hour. They'll have 4 sets of tires available to them. 2 green-white checker attempts, which we seen that happen last week. 50% fuel and iRacing fixed setup. So that's what these guys are going to be dealing with out here tonight. Everybody driving the same setup, even though they might be in different manufacturers.
Yep, that fuel load being a big part of tonight, because tonight it's one of the few races we've seen that doesn't have the full, meaning there's going to be at least 1 pit stop here tonight. It'd be great to see when that falls.
Yeah, one thing about the lighter fuel load too is it also tightens up the car. So when these guys start out here with full fuel loads, they got all that fuel sitting in the back of the car, so the car wants to rotate a little bit better on on a high fuel load, and then on this low fuel load, they'll go about, I'm guessing, about 45 to 55 laps on a run. But the car will definitely get pretty tight as the tires start wearing.
Yes, indeed. We got less than a minute left in qualifying here as we're taking a look, as you said, of this wide track. Dougie Beard's cameras, the overview that we're getting of this track is incredible. It's going to be a good look tonight.
Yeah, and under the lights, you can't ask for a better place. One of my favorite short tracks obviously is Martinsville, but when I look back at one of those fond places that I like to race, Richmond always has a fond place in my heart. I always love coming here, especially in the Xfinity car. The Xfinity car, for whatever reason, really seems to hook up on this track, and it's a whole lot of fun being out there in those cars.
Yes, indeed. I wish I could say the same, but we're coming to the end of qualifying here, and I don't think it's going to be too much of a surprise as to who is going to get this week's Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. We're going to let everything get settled for the grid here as we see the 05 of Peyton Howell taking it at the point this week, starting off first. Mark Whitley in the 77 starting second. P3 is going to go to Craig Bontrager, and the 36 of George Jewell is going to roll off fourth. Corinne Smith in the 10 rolls off from P5 with Joseph McWhorter, one of the highest winningest drivers we have this season, rolling off at P6. Kyle Deering in the 50 rolling P7. Wesley Burke, a surprise late in the season, in the 8th spot. And then Barrett Morton in the 9th position. Duncan Faw rolling from 10th in that 61.
Dave Calvert in the 90 will start in that 11th position with Charles Abert on the outside in 12th. Stephen Purcell will start on the inside in 13th. Daniel Parks on his outside in P14. P15 will be Stephen Davis with Kevin Calkins starting in the 16th position. The 99 of Brandon Wallace will start in the 17th position with Wyatt Dooling starting in 18th. Chuck Phelps on the inside will start in 19th, and Devontae Drain will start on the outside in the 20th position.
Talladega winner Frederick Seagraves, one of our playoff drivers, starting 21st. Jamie Libke, another playoff driver, in 22nd. Cody Turner in that 57 machine, rolling off 23rd, with Kevin Price in the 24th spot. Brock Price in the 43, 25th. Armando Melgoza in 26th. Colton Sisk not taking a time with Claire Sisk to their outside, and our final driver in the field is going to be that 44 of Gary Wright.
Well, they are rolling out on the track right now, going to get these tires warm. Of course, the lights are out on the pace car. I was thinking that it was going to be 2 laps to green, but I don't think it's that way here at Richmond. I think it's just 1 lap, and we're going to turn them loose. So these guys are going to have to be really careful getting a nice start on cold tires. Oh, I was right. I guess it is 2 laps. So anyway, as I was saying, they're going to have to take it easy on the start, get those tires warmed up. We're looking at a track temperature pretty cool here in the evening, about 68 degrees. So it'll take a few laps to get these cars warmed up and get them up to full sail, as they say. But when they do, I imagine it's going to be pretty exciting out there.
Yes, indeed. Everybody lined side by side. It's eager anticipation with that pace car getting ready to roll them back off.
And we got, looks like some cars going back to maybe a EOL or something like that. I see some cars backing up. Didn't like their qualifying position, and it looks like race control has moved them back. I'm not sure who that was, but we're coming around here for the final time, about to send them loose for the playoffs.
Pace car is in, rolling off of turn 4, and we are rolling. Green flag at Richmond.
Wow, the 77 of Mark Whitley got a nice start there. Able to jump out in front of Peyton Howell. You see Peyton Howell just jump out at a really slow start. Craig Bontrager falling in behind. And then, of course, you've got McWhorter back there in the 4th position.
We've seen this before from Howell. He'll start from the front, then work his way back, saving those tires, and just make his way all the way back from the front. George Jewell gets loose on the exit of turn 4. He is running through the grass of the tri-oval, so is the 50 of Kyle Deering.
Yeah, he gets alongside there. Brandon Wallace gets that 36 going again. Able to save it. We're still green flag going down the backstretch. Oh, there's a car around in the back. We are under caution.
57 of Cody Turner taking a heavy nose shot off of the exit of turn 2. Like I mentioned when we were getting started here, looks like he's got some decent damage on that nose. Might end up having to take the fast repair.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about, Jacob, getting these tires warmed up, being careful here. We'll see if he has any incidents with any other cars, but it looks like he's out there by himself, just minding it, and just gets away from him. And you can see, try to correct it, but just nothing doing there. Tires still too cold.
Put a little too much foot onto that pedal, just rotated him into that spin.
Well, we were under caution pretty early tonight. Go ahead there, Jacob.
It's been pretty eventful so far. We've seen everybody fan out, trying to find their footing on what line they want to run, maybe the line that they wanted to run in qualifying or practice. As we see the 50 of Deering and the 36 of Jewell take it down the pit lane right there. Might end up. I didn't think they had any damage when they were spinning to the infield there. They might be going for tires.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely true here for the 36. 36 probably going into, after he flat spotted those tires going in the infield, maybe, it looks like he's taking fuel only. I don't see any tires going on that car. So it looks like people are topping off.
Topping off, maybe trying to make it a little further on the tires as opposed to waiting for the rest of the field to make the stop, just wanting to go a little bit further for their money there. That car that you saw drop to the back at the start was the 10 of Corinne Smith, which they qualified 5th. I can understand wanting to back it off a little bit to try and keep away from some of the chaos that can come from being front mid-pack like that. So they're currently sitting a little longer in the pit lane there. So I wonder what's going on with them.
Well, it was a pretty soft start. A lot of drivers changed positions really early on that start. It looks like, at least for our leaders, the top 10, when we took the green flag, we're very gentle getting into those corners. And you can see, Mark Whitley wasn't, and he was able just to sail on past Howell, but everybody else just kind of fell in line, just trying to take it easy, get these tires warmed up. I think we'll see that again on this next restart.
If I had a nickel for every time that I said Mark Whitley was going to be the control car on a restart, I think I would be rich at this point in the season.
Well, interesting fact, this point in the season, Mark Whitley has not won a single race. So
it seems like more of a curse than a blessing at this point.
Yeah, so Mark Whitley, if his trend continues to stay in the playoffs here, he's kind of one of those drivers that might need one of those win and in type drivers. So he's had some close finishes, almost getting wins, and whether it was bad luck or what have you, just hasn't been able to get a victory. So now that we're in the playoffs with 2 races, he's probably thinking that he needs to start pulling down some wins.
Since we've seen him start running like he has throughout the rest of the season, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. He's going to try and point his way in. Pace car is in, back into the restart zone, and we are under green once again at Richmond.
Yeah, he gets a great start there. He's taking his teammate, Joseph McWhorter, down on the inside of Peyton Howell right now. You can see McWhorter trying to come out of the exit at 2. Doesn't quite have Howell cleared there. Looks like Bontrager just skims the wall just behind him. We're back under caution.
Yep, caution is out once again. We're seeing a large pileup back further in the field. We got the 80 of Kevin Price, 44 Gary Wright, 78 Armando Melgoza. George Jewell caught up in this one as well. Brock Price, we're still hitting each other under caution. 52 of Devontae Drain stopped on the track, and he's getting ready to pull it back.
Needed a backup camera there.
Oh! It looked like the 99. And the 99 might have checked up a little bit out of the corner, or the 7 gassed it up. If 99 gets loose in the middle there, he's able to, yep, it just comes right down. 7 didn't have anywhere to go. A lot of other people did have somewhere to go, but they just decided to keep going straight.
Well, we are not even 10 laps into this thing. We've had a couple cautions, so these guys are struggling a little bit out here tonight with the tires. We'll see if we have any takers to pit lane, but I don't know. It's still pretty early. Tires are still fresh out there. I don't imagine anybody in our top probably 15 will probably be headed to pit lane. But one thing I was going to say with some of those cars coming in and topping off, I might have got my fuel calculations off, and they might be thinking that they can make it on one stop. So this might be 2 stops if you if we were to run solid green all the way around this place. And with the cautions that we're having, it could very well just be a 2-stop race, and that's what those guys were thinking about.
Everybody wanting to play a little bit into that strategy there, and these cautions will definitely help the guys that have stopped, so that they don't have to make any stop toward the back end of the if they think they're not going to make it, they don't have to make a stop on the back end of the green run.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jacob, since we got another caution here, why don't we talk about one of our sponsors, Save 22. Save 22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Our unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. Save 22.
Save 22 being one of the title sponsors for the Friday Truck Series that we have in the Fall Series going on right now, and a major supporter of Goat Locker. We appreciate everything that they do for this to go on.
Yeah, and we've got all kinds of playoff racing going on right now in Goat Locker Racing. Sunday night Xfinity Series, that's where we are at right now with the Invets Series. And we can see that the lights are out atop the pace car. Mark Whitley is going to lead him back to the green flag. He's going to have his teammate McWhorter there on the outside. Peyton Howell on the inside in third. Craig Bontrager hunting for his first win of the season out there in fourth. Wesley Burke fifth, and Duncan Faw in sixth.
Martin is another driver that we've seen go for it here late in the stages this season. I think we're going to see a move from him. Pace car is in. Whitley leads them back to the restart zone once again, and we are green at Richmond.
Whitley getting that great start again, taking McWhorter is going to fall in behind as they go into one, but Cofield side by side with Bontrager now. Bontrager way up high on the track. Looks like Cofield's going to get a good exit here. Can't quite slip in front of him there. Bontrager holding tight on the outside.
Yep, Peyton Howell slipping behind the 72. Craig Bontrager now relenting that inside to the 04. Wesley Burke. Burke is going to go for 2 here.
Yeah, and Burke has got a couple wins on the season, so Burke is a strong contender out there, pushing that car really hard on the inside as they exit 2. Bontrager almost in the wall again, fighting that 49 car really hard, driving it really hard there on the outside lane.
Yep, he's stuck right now because everybody else to the inside is getting into a rhythm. Duncan Faw lining up behind that 49, trying to see if he can make a move on both of them going into one.
Yeah, and this is what Faw needs. He needs to get around these guys too. Faw is obviously competing here in the championship, so we see the 04 car get into the wall there just as he got the 49 cleared and able to get a single file there. I don't think there was any damage on that car, just a light brush.
Everybody's single file, kind of Pied Piper style, trying to wrap their way around this track, keep it green, keep it clean. Everybody in the top 10 back to back to back.
Bontrager's looks like he's making love to that wall back there, though. I've seen him hit it about 5 times so far. He's really kissing that wall every corner. You know he's driving that car really hard.
Just trying to wheel it, get as much out of this run as he possibly can, because we haven't had a green run this long since the start of the race. We're at lap 16 right now. And
he knows who he's got behind him. He's got Duncan Faw, Barrett Morton. All 3 of those guys are hunting for this championship. So, Bontrager, he's been my pick a couple of races, and every time I pick him, he has some bad luck. So he had a really good run last week, was able to get on the podium, and that's because I'd like to think because I didn't pick him. So I'm not going to pick him tonight. I'd like to see him do well.
Who are you going to pick?
I don't know. I'm kind of liking Duncan Faw right now. We haven't talked about him, a lot this season, but really consistent up here in the points, able to make the championship. But looks like he's driving that car really smooth. Got that Toyota locked in. Not really pushing any issues right now.
61 Supra, Duncan Faw is your pick. Me, I like to go with the trends, and there's no bigger trend right now than the winning streak. Give me Peyton Howell.
Well, now you're making it too easy. So, yeah, that's obviously a good pick. We'll see. Last week was disastrous for some drivers. Mark Whitley and Joseph McWhorter all involved in incidents in a late race caution that allowed Peyton Howell to win that race. Very well could do it tonight, but Peyton Howell can find himself with some bad luck here as well, being that we're short track racing.
Yep, we're watching the battle for the 16th position. Kyle Deering trying to make up from that early off track that he had going through the tri-oval area, moving to the inside of Frederick Seagraves.
Yeah, Seagraves, he was the first winner this season at Talladega, and he is in the playoffs. Oh, you see him getting the wall there in the backstretch there. The 50 is going to go to the outside, but as I was saying, Seagraves trying to stay in this thing. He's got some work tonight to get it done. The 50 is going to back out, can't quite get there. Seagraves going to have the advantage going into one.
Seagraves also the driver that is the highest position, having already used their fast repair in this one because he was caught up in that massive crash just about 10 laps ago.
Yeah, you can't make mistakes with the wall like he just made, so he's going to have to be a little more careful, stay in this hunt, keep that car clean, but it looks like they all fallen back into single file right now. It looks like the 50 is under threat right now. It looks like Brock Price putting some pressure on the 50 a little bit as we ride along here in Brock Price's.
Brock Price, another one of those cars that was involved in that big crash, ended up running into the 80 during the initial scuffle of everybody collecting on the backstretch. He has also used his fast repair, as have about, I would say, 5 or 6 others in this one. Everybody else opting to use either take some time in the pits to fix their damage, but they seem to have gotten it cleaned up, and we're going back. We're back to clean racing.
Yeah, this is all a battle for the 16th position right now. Seagraves has got it. Other two guys behind him, we see Brock Price taking a look at the inside of the 50 there. That's Kyle Deering. And on the inside, as they go into one, we'll see if he's got any traction coming out of 2 here. They'll go side by side down the backstretch. That car in front there of Seagraves might be a little bit of a pick there. Can't quite clear the 50. Does. We'll see if he can get a little bit of a run. He does get the 50 clear.
With all these guys pushing, they've come up on another battle. We're seeing the 18 of Colton Sisk trying to make their way to Dave Calvert. The 12 slow on the inside.
Yeah, that car was really slow there, probably checking up, got a little sideways. Oh, there was almost a car back there in the wall. But you see the 43 now, still Brock Price, still working on Seagraves right now. Looking on the outside, see if he can get a run there. And then you got Colton Sisk just ahead of them, running in that 18. And it looks like Seagraves is going to get on the inside of Colton Sisk. And Colton Sisk gets a little brush on the wall there as they head down into 3.
Sisk might give up 2 here as Brock Price is lined up on the back bumper of Seagraves as they're trying to chase down Wyatt Dooling in the 51 for 14th.
Yeah, Seagraves pushed up high there in that pass. Oh, Brock Price down on the inside of Seagraves, really close. And it looks like Brock Price has got the advantage here. The car is still in the wall behind him. And it looks like the 43 got that car clear, but we're looking back now at Sisk in the 18 car. Got a hold of that wall, running up high.
Colton Sisk with a heavy hit, relenting all those spots to the drivers that pulled through ahead. Wyatt Dooling now under fire from the 43 of Brock Price, having gotten around Seagraves and Calvert just ahead.
Yeah, Price is really running. It seems like every car he passes goes into the wall there. You see that car just behind him hit the wall there, but Brock is running some drivers down at the moment. Currently looking at Dave Calvert just ahead of him, and he is running them down.
I'd venture to guess that Brock did take tires on the stop after the wreck, so he's got a little bit fresher tires, and these guys wanting to put a little more into it. He's already cashed the first set in, wanting to put as much as he can on these tires to try and chase back the rest of the pack as he's made his way up to 12th.
Well, he's got a little bit of clear track in front of him now as we look at Duncan Faw here, currently running in, it looks like the 7th position here. Got a battle here between Barrett Morton and Stephen Davis. A couple of challengers here. Duncan Faw started in the 10th position, up a couple positions on the night, so he's currently running in 7th. And he's got his eye on Barrett Morton, another strong driver up there in that 9 car.
Barrett, known throughout this season and throughout some other of the series that we've run, he runs very hard. He tries to get himself up there, or if he's up there, he tries to keep himself up there, but he tends to fall back a little bit on the long runs because he burns his stuff up so much. Another factor that we haven't talked about too much tonight is consistency, and that would be the 09 of Stephen Davis. I don't think we've had very much negative things to say about him. He is consistent, he is clean, he's able to make his way, he's got several top 10s in the series, he's fighting for a championship, and you can't put yourself into a position fighting for a championship by just going for it all the time. You have to relent and just take the points where you can, and it's got him into a good spot.
Absolutely, and this is where it's his time to shine. You know, now that we are in the playoffs, he is going to have to step it up. You know, it isn't just about consistency now. You know, you got to get up there. A lot of these guys, the top 10, are all playoff drivers. A lot of the top 10, I should say, except for maybe Peyton Howell. Peyton Howell has won the last 2 races. However, he didn't have enough races within the series, within the season, to qualify for a championship. So he's out there just running to get wins. But the rest of these guys are going to have to try to get ahead of each other if they want to compete for this chase here.
These guys are kind of driven a little bit away from that 09 of Stephen Davis. Faw back on the back bumper of the 9 car as they wrap their way into turn 1. Let's go on board with Duncan Faw here running a tighter inside line to the yellow as opposed to Barrett Morton. Morton able to get a better exit onto the corner, and he wraps it higher into the corner, trying to get back to the bumper of the 9. He's entering a little lower into 1 and entering a little higher into 2, trying to wrap that trying to wrap his line as best he can through here.
Yeah, I like how he's getting that done. Just staying tucked in there behind Barrett. I don't think he's trying to make an attempt to pass. It looks like Barrett's running a pretty solid line himself. Kind of like how Barrett's handling 3 and 4 right now, but Duncan looks really strong in 1 and 2. So we'll see how that plays off later in the races. We're looking but now at Joseph McWhorter right now, under pressure from Peyton Howell. Peyton Howell now back up there, you know, like you said, Jacob, he saved those tires, and now he's like, well, I don't want to let that leader of Mark Whitley get away, so I'm going to start working my way back up here.
Yes, indeed. Close on the back bumper of McWhorter. Tucks it back to the inside. He's able to get a run, trying to wrap it down to the inside in turn 1. No challenge. Might have a challenge on the exit here. Peyton Howell move up to the number 2 spot, chasing down that 77.
Yeah, so that was a solid pass there. I think McWhorter just doing him a solid by letting him go. There's no sense this early in the race putting up a huge fight, but good driving for both those guys.
Yes, indeed. Howell now a half-second change behind the 77 of Whitley as we got some lap traffic further up. That's going to be the 57 of Cody Turner, who might relent into the corner here. He drops down to the bottom. Whitley's going to have to find his way around him soon.
Yeah, these guys have been pretty considerate all season long. Haven't seen a lot of lap cars battle too hard here. We'll see what he does here on the exit of 2, but Whitley's such a strong driver. See Whitley a little wide there, almost connects, but you see that lap car check up, but don't look now because here comes Peyton. Peyton was able to get around that lap car a little bit better than Whitley and really caught up to him.
A little bit better exit, cuts off 2/10 of Whitley's lead. Peyton Howell now trying to track him down.
Yeah, Peyton's strong ever since he showed up this season. Like I said, won the last 2 races. He's your pick of the night. So I think that was a close call, but I think you probably picked the right driver. It's hard to say at this point. Anything could happen here at Richmond or anywhere else, but never count McWhorter, Whitley are out. But let's not forget about Wesley Burke. He kind of surprised us about mid-season, and Wesley Burke currently running in that 4th position, a couple seconds back. But he's also a very strong contender for a win tonight as well.
what I've seen from Wesley Burke in the races we've covered, they're great at holding position. Like, if they were up at the front and they were able to keep themselves up at the front, if they run mid-pack or they run in the back of the top 5, they're able to keep themselves in that position better, as they almost make contact with the 57 there. But they're able to keep themselves in a position where they're not going to put themselves at a disadvantage. But the problem with that is that they can't really make it. They can put a charge on like a late run, which we saw at the few races that they have won. But I wouldn't count on them to put up a 3-second charge like we're seeing right now, getting towards the end of this green run.
Well, while you were talking there, and it was up on the screen there, Bontrager and Burke getting through lap traffic. Bontrager was really dealing with some hardcore lap traffic. Had a couple close calls there. You can see Bontrager just behind the 04, trying to keep pace with that car. And Charles Abert, I believe, is a lap down, and he's going to go by on the inside with those fresher tires. But yeah, Charles Abert involved with that incident on lap 8 with that huge multi-car pileup, and so he's out there on fresh tires trying to get a lap back.
As is the 36 of George Jewell. He was caught in both. Well, he was involved in an incident at the very start of the race, and he was caught in that big pileup. He is another great driver that's trying to pull himself back into this one. Another one of our playoff drivers.
Yeah, exactly. Being one of the playoff drivers, he's thinking he's got to get himself back up there, and he's going to need cautions to fall his way too. He's kind of blocked off by the 04 and Charles Abert there, looking for a way by with those fresher tires. But him and Abert trying to get back on the lead lap. But I think they are 2 laps down. I'm just going to take a quick peek there. Yeah, well, Charles Abert's 3 laps down, so they've got quite a bit. And George Jewell looks like is 3 laps down. So both these drivers 3 laps down.
To Jewell's credit, he has not taken his fast repairs, so he's banking on a few more cautions to get him through here. He might be able to pull one back on the long run if they're able to pass the leader before the start of the pit cycle, but he is going to need several cautions to pull him back into this one.
We're sitting here watching a battle here with cars that are 3 lap down. It's a pretty entertaining battle right now, as you can see the 36 down on the inside. Charles Abert up high, but gets blocked off by the 10 car there of Corin Smith. So Corin Smith also a lap down, struggling to get back on the lead lap, but clearly doesn't have the fresher tires.
Speaking of lead lap, we had a change for the lead throughout there. Peyton Howell in the 05 took the 77 of Whitley for the lead while they were fighting through that lap traffic that we were just taking a look at. Whitley trying to chase him down. And we're going to take a look at the pass for the lead here. We got 2 lap cars up in front. Another lap car that these guys had just passed by. One of the lap cars that's Wyatt Dooling made contact with the wall. Oh, Whitley tries to pinch Howell to the inside, trying to keep him down to that or below the yellow line. And Howell pushes him right back up as they push up the track, almost getting contact with those lap cars, and Howell takes the spot.
Yeah, they took it 3 wide there, and Whitley did the smart thing and backed off. But Whitley was being really aggressive there, trying to hold off Howell. Couldn't get it done, and we'll see if Howell now sets sail here. And, one of the fun things about watching short track racing is, within a few laps, you're in traffic, just solid traffic all night long. But here at Richmond, you got a lane here. We watched them go 3 wide. It's something you don't see at Martinsville. When you get in traffic at Martinsville, it can be very frustrating. But there's all kinds of grooves here at Richmond. We see the Ford now headed to pit lane. So Wesley Burke, one of our first leaders, the 4th place car, going into pit lane.
Yep, might be the first taker for the end of this race here. Wesley Burke pitting from that the 4th position, moves up Craig Bontrager. We'll see who else tries to take it.
Yeah, so that tells me that this was going to be a 2-stop race, because coming in earlier than I expected. So even with the caution laps we had, it doesn't look like they could have made it to lap 60. So, with him coming in early like that, that's quite a risky strategy call unless they're really low on fuel.
Am I mistaken? Did I just saw them take 2 tires there, or was I just completely lost it?
I didn't catch it myself. As we watch a car bang off the wall, as Wesley Burke is exiting pit lane. So Wesley Burke is hoping that the caution doesn't come out now. He's going to need everybody to cycle around. As I'm watching all kinds of cars right now, as these tires getting older, they're slipping up and getting into the wall there.
Yep, watching the 43 of Brock Price fighting with the 16 of Jamie Limke. That is inside of the top 10 right here. This is for 9th. Brock Price trying to track down the 71 of Daniel Parks as we see the 18 dive to the inside, likely trying to take the pit lane as well.
Yeah, the 16 back there, one of our playoff drivers. She's trying to get up there, hold on to that top 10, score some points. Obviously, she's had a great run because she's up from the 22nd position. Of course, we are under pit stops right now. I'm just checking here, see if we have anybody else on pit lane. No, we don't. But as we're watching the 43 work on the 71 of Daniel Parks.
Both of them had a wide exit there. The 43 trying to track down that 71. The Brock Price machine on 10-lap fresher tires than the 71 and all the cars ahead, so they're going to try and make another push toward the end of this green run.
Yeah, on an entirely different pit strategy at this point. 71 headed to pit lane really hard there, trying to hold it down there. So Daniel Parks now on to pit lane. So that's our 8th place driver. Actually, there's a whole set of drivers. Jamie Lipke's on pit lane and 11, and the caution is out. Kevin Calkins is on pit lane.
That's the 57 of Cody Turner again. Ended up getting hit by the 50 of Kyle Tearing. We've totally talked about him like 5 times tonight. He's slow exiting to turn 4. It looks like he's got some more nose damage there. He's got Brandon Wallace behind him, and I think everybody was trying to make it to the pit lane, and he might not have called it. There was nowhere for the. There was nowhere for the 50 to go. Our leaders were right behind him, too. And that's just a poor turn of events. That throws a wrench into a lot of people's race strategy.
Yeah, especially Wesley Burke, one of the top contenders tonight. We're riding on board here with Brandon Wallace. Brandon Wallace probably didn't know that this car was trying to get onto pit lane here. You can see him get down on the bottom, and then the car just checks up. And, yeah, Brandon Wallace did not expect that check up there and gets into the back of him and sends him up into the wall.
Unfortunate is the tagline for that one.
All our leaders are on pit lane right now, getting 4 tires and fuel here. Based on the fuel strategy, we're right at the halfway point. So interesting. Wesley Burke came to pit lane. Is still, I'm perplexed by that because these guys did make it to the halfway point. Question is, if we go green the rest of the way, looks like Peyton Howell is going to win that race off pit road. But if we make it green flag racing for the rest of this race, I wonder if they can make it all the way.
I would say that it's going to be worth watching to see if they can. I agree with the 04 taking the trip back down to pit road, but strategy is not really my forte on this. I would want to go with like the least possible margin for error, so I would want to try and either wave around and take my lap back. Then again, you have the possibility of other people staying out just to try and get that lap led or take that position for the restart. I would personally want to try and take that wave around. I think that might have been what they did. We're seeing the 09 of Stephen Davis has a black flag for some reason.
Yeah, not sure what's going on there. It might have been race control or something like that. Trying to find out exactly why he's black flag.
Getting word they may have come down and pitted instead of rolling the pit lane when the caution flag flew. But another key point that I don't think we've touched on right now. One of the drivers that has been, he's been the winningest driver all season to this point, is not here. Jonathan Cofield, one of our top contenders for the points, is not present in this race, so he will have to win next week in Texas.
Yeah, nothing like pressure to rise to the next level there, Jacob, and that's what he's certainly going to need to do. So we are side by side right now. Pace car is on pit lane. We're about to go green flag racing. We are green. Peyton Howell takes them across the line. McWhorter and Whitley side by side going into one.
Yep, we'll see if this is going to last all the way through the rest of the race here. We got one car sent up into the outside. That's Barrett Morton, gets shot out of line. Might be some contact further back as Duncan Fall makes his way past.
Yeah, now McWhorter ahead of his teammate 77, Bontrager behind Whitley. So Whitley has dropped back another position here. So Whitley's starting those struggles again. We've seen him all season long. Hasn't been able to get a win. Currently running in that third position. He's going to need to find something, but we're back under caution.
We are back under caution once again. Corinne Smith down to the inside of the track. They're shown as having a black flag. We'll see what happened here. As they just loop it, entering the corner. Managed to keep it off the wall, but because they stopped so close to the active track, it looks like they, I think iRacing wanted to play it safe here.
Yeah, and that's, again, I think that's a situation with cold tires. We just had that caution. These drivers have been out there running on hot tires for the last 40 laps, and you get a fresh set of tires on there, and you go back out there and you forget you got to drive slow again for a couple laps, and I think that's probably what happened to Corin.
Yeah, you're trying to get straight back to the heavy running, and unfortunately it catches them out right here.
Well, that was a nice green flag run we have. We have 55 laps to go, so we're definitely over halfway. And these caution flags, if they are running close on fuel, it's definitely going to help some of these drivers out not to have to worry about maybe making another stop.
Yes, indeed. Everybody trying to everybody coming down trying to get that assurance toward the end. As we see Frederick Seagraves, the 7 Charles Abert, Wesley Burke, Kyle Deering, a lot of these drivers having a lot of issues toward the front end of this race, trying to put a race together for the back end.
Well, Wesley Burke, we're watching him get 4 tires on that 04 car right there. Wesley Burke, if you remember, was one of our first of our leaders to go on the pit lane. Ended up going a lap down. The caution comes out, had to take a wave around, and then was praying for a caution. Wesley got it. He's one of our playoff drivers, super strong contender. He's back there with fresh tires, out there full of fuel. I think Wesley could probably make it this time, and he's going to have the freshest tires of some of our stronger drivers out there.
Yep, to the tune of 7 laps fresher than the leaders on track. That may be that is a sizable gap when you think about how many or how short some of these laps are.
Yeah, but he does have some traffic he's going to have to come through. Currently running in the 12th spot. So, he's got some work to do. There's a lot of fast drivers ahead of him, a lot of playoff drivers. So he isn't the only one that's fast out there, but one of the notable exceptions of how lucky he got with that early pit stop.
Yes, indeed. Lights on the pace car have come out, and we are going to go around one more time before we get going. We passed the halfway point. Peyton Howell is your leader. Joseph McWhorter running second. Mark Whitley in third. Duncan Fall in fourth. Craig Bontrager rounding out your top 5.
Ooh, it's getting spicy now. We're getting close, and these guys are starting to get amped up right now as we're getting into the closing laps of this race. 52 to go when they take the green flag. I imagine that Peyton's been really good saving those tires, but he's got 2 strong drivers behind him. Bontrager's hungry. Duncan Faw back there in that 5th position. My pick of the night. I'd like to see him do well. We'll see what these guys do. Pace car's headed on the pit lane.
All 6 of the cars in front are going to be amped up, trying to get going as we are green once again at Richmond, with Howell taking another massive jump.
He does, taking Whitley this time with him. Last restart, it was McWhorter, but now Whitley's got the advantage. McWhorter's going to try to duck in behind Whitley. Bontrager now side by side. Bontrager, famous for getting into that wall. Looks like he did it again. It allows the 61 to get ahead of him. And now Bontrager will fall in line, but Bontrager's under threat by Barrett Morton just behind him.
One of these times, Bontrager's going to get a restart on the inside, and we are under caution once again. We're taking a look at the 51 of Wyatt Dooling, who might have gone around the exit of 4.
Maybe another one of those situations of cold tires. We're going to go back and check the replay here and see exactly what happened. Back there in traffic, kind of slow. Got a couple cars approaching here. Gets down low. Oh, and he's going to get some help there. Got some help by the 09, and that sent him around onto pit lane here. So it looks like he's really slow. I don't think Stephen Davis expected him to check up like that. So that was Stephen Davis that got in the back of him. And yeah, it just looked like a big difference in speed there.
Might have backed down a little too much for Stephen Davis's liking. Couldn't get slowed up in time and sent him around.
Well, I'll tell you what, while we got a moment here, do we have a Warrior Spotlight this week? I can't remember.
Yes, indeed we do. Mike Swartzen is our 13th SimRig recipient and our very first responder. Mike is from Indiana and served in the United States Air Force for 4 years in the fire service. During his time, he deployed to Korea and Pakistan in support of our great nation. Once returning home, he decided to continue his career in the fire services and has been a firefighter with the Indianapolis Airport Fire Department for the past 20 years. We are proud to welcome him to the Goat Locker Racing family and look forward to seeing him on track.
Yeah, great to have him on board. And I want to mention a couple other things really quick while we got a chance. GTR Racing Simulators, who helps Goat Locker Racing with these donations for these sim rigs too, which I currently race on, so that's a great company. Also, we have the Goat Locker web store, where we have shirts, hoodies, hats, all kinds of that swag that everybody's looking for here at Goat Locker. Supporting our veterans and first responders. This is a great place to get swag. If you, I have a couple pieces of it. If you need a hat or something like that from Goat Locker Racing, be sure and check that website out right there on your screen with the QR code.
Yes, indeed. I got a shirt. I got a hoodie. I got my dad a shirt for his birthday. And one of the things that are featured on the website that I have been excited about, that I've been pestering Pat about since I got here, is I'm going to have to buy me at least one of them quarter zips that they got so I can look very fancy and formal at work while still representing Goat Locker.
Yeah, I need another baseball hat because I'm freaking bald and I need something to keep my head warm. I haven't got a Goat Locker Racing baseball cap, so I think that's going to be on my next purchase. My next purchase anyway is a hat. I have the challenge coin, which I don't know, you don't want to call it a challenge coin, but I have it set up so it can sit on my mic. So if our producer ever showed like us in the broadcast booth talking, we'd see the nice Goat Locker logo there on the challenge coin, but we never have that opportunity. I'm not even sure we have driver's cameras tonight, but I can't thank our producer enough, Eddie Smith, always on top of things, always a lot of fun working with Eddie and yourself. So looking forward to the rest of the season as we close out this championship season.
Yes, indeed. Eddie putting a lot of the work in, most of the work in for the production side of things. And we are getting ready to go back green here once again with cameras switched to him courtesy of Dougie Beard. Pace car's lights are off. We are going back through turn 4, back into the restart zone. Peyton Howell once again leading him back to green at Richmond.
Yeah, Howell elected on the outside lane. He's going to take Duncan Faw, tried to follow him through on the outside. 77 and Mark Whitley down on the inside. Faw can't quite get there. He's under threat now with the inside of McWhorter. Looking to run down the inside. Looks like McWhorter's going to tuck back in the line, move Faw up to that third position.
Yep, Faw was able to get good rotation off the top there, getting around McWhorter. Bontrager trying to track down Barrett Morton for that 5th spot now.
I got to say that was a pretty heads-up move there by Peyton Howell. I think that's what Peyton Howell wanted. He wanted to separate those two teammates. And I think by choosing that outside line, that's exactly what happened. And so now he's got Duncan Faw in the mix. So McWhorter trying to get around Duncan Faw, but it looks like we are back under caution.
Yes, indeed. Wyatt Dooling back in the pit lane, but we got the 80 of Kevin Price. Heavy nose damage to that car on the backstretch, and he's going to have to tow.
As we watch Kevin Price here going through the front stretch into turn 1 in that 80, that teal and red car there. Looks like he might, I thought the 18 was going to get in the back of him. Oh, he just gets sideways off to the famous corner that you don't like here, Jacob. Looks like it bit that 80 car right in the rear bumper.
Yep, just a little too much rotation out of turn 2, getting your foot on the gas a little too soon. He's got a good bottom line here, rotates it, pushes up the track, and just tries to put a little too much pedal in it. Almost hits the federated sign, as that likely will be the end of his.
Yeah, tough break. You can see he towed it to pit lane here. Wow, well, that was quick. So we have we'll have about 41 laps to go when they take the green flag again. So things have heated up. And we've seen this show before. these drivers will have long green flag runs, and then we'll have that caution come out, and then these guys struggle to continue that green flag run as they're all fighting for positions as we get towards the end of the race. You can see the one of the cars getting the lucky dog going by there on the outside, but looking at Brandon Wallace headed to pit lane. Brandon Wallace, if you remember last week, just barely made the cut, or almost made the cutoff, but kind of was cheated out of it. So Brandon Wallace unfortunately didn't make the playoffs here, but still looking for his first win of the season. That 99 car has been strong all season. Just some bad luck for that driver this season.
And now with that pit stop, he's got 19 lap fresher tires than the lead group. So we're going to see a little bit of dichotomy between these runners and the lead pack that have not pitted.
Yeah, lots straight. I'm just looking. Wesley Burke, you know, he started back in the 12th position on that restart. He's up to 7th. So Wesley Burke, another one of those drivers on fresher tires. He was in 4th when that whole pit cycle started about halfway through the race. And he's up to 7th now. So he is starting to make his presence known once again.
Yes, indeed. George Jewell got his lap back on that. He's been fighting all night to try and get back on the lead lap from 3 laps down, and he's currently sitting in the 16th spot.
Yeah, that was that car with the lucky dog. I was trying to find the number on that car, but good job there for George. Another one of those drivers in the playoffs, so you know he's hoping for a good run. He's going to have to string a couple together just behind Seagraves, another playoff contender, as well as Lipke.
I would say I would hold off for maybe one more caution, see if the leaders pit and go in with them. So you can have a little bit fresher tires. We got a camera up for him. He's got that Michigan State flag hanging up on the wall there. I would want to go where the leaders are, because they're going to try and punch a hole through the rest of this field. You know that they've got the talent for it, and I would want to get up there with them. Pace car is off. We are going to be going back into the restart zone courtesy of Peyton Howell, and we are green once again at Richmond.
Look at that. Duncan Faw now on the inside of Mark Whitley, trying to get that position, trying to move up to second place. They go into 1 and 2. Faw has got a little bit of an advantage here. I don't know if he can clear the 77 out of 2. Can't quite get there. They're going to go side by side into turn 3.
Duncan Faw's got the inside position, but Whitley's going to have the momentum exiting turn 4. Faw's still got a bumper to the inside on Whitley's wheel as they go into turn 1. I think Whitley might cover him off here.
Yeah, it looks like Whitley's got a little bit more speed off the corner here, and he does clear Duncan Faw here. Now, McWhorter is going to look on the inside of that 61 car. So Duncan Faw has got some work to do, and it looks like the 59 has spun that car around. That'd be Frederick Fearless Seagraves. So one of our playoff contenders has hit the inside wall.
Caution is out once again at Richmond. We're going to take another look at this one. We see him to the inside of what looks like that's Devontae Drain in the 52, rolling that inside, trying to get a good exit off of turn 2 again, wraps it around. He's got a little bit of rear end damage off of the inside wall. And I told you at the start of the night that was not going to be a good corner for some of these drivers.
Yeah, that's all about managing that pedal, especially in these Xfinity cars. It's very easy to send it around, but once you get the rhythm for the exit of 2, you can really go out there and dominate. You can pretty much go out there. Oh! Under caution, Seagraves gets into the back. I think that was Jamie Lipke. So catching up to the back of the field there, slams in the back of Jamie. I believe that's who it was.
That looked like the 12 of Claire Sisk that took the shot there. I don't know why that would have been... I don't know why that would have been necessary in any... It doesn't look like anybody really slowed up too bad.
Yeah, we're looking at it right now. And yeah, it just looks like everybody came to a stop there, and Seagraves maybe taking a drink of water or something. Just didn't see everybody checking up.
Yeah, that's unfortunate on all sides there.
At first, I thought it might have been intentional, but I don't think that was the case. So it looks like just, a little frustrated after that spin for Seagraves and just wasn't paying attention. He's down on pit road getting that machine, getting some fenders beat out on that because he has taken his fast repair, I believe. And so that car is getting pretty chewed up, that Toyota that he is running tonight. One of our playoff contenders, definitely in trouble tonight.
Yep, he's going to have a lot of work to do at Texas after this run tonight. Well, now that we're under caution again, do you have another sponsor you'd like to talk about?
Well, we can always talk about our sponsors. The sponsors here is what makes Goat Locker special, but I'd like to talk about Invets. Invets aids in transitioning into civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They're a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. They are the title sponsor of this series, and we are so happy to have them on board.
Yes, indeed. Very happy to have Invets on board with us. They're a huge sponsor of Goat Locker and help us put on awesome programming like this for everybody out there watching.
Well, Peyton Howell is going to lead us to the green flag once again. He's going to have Whitley on the outside. Duncan Faw, really strong in that third position, was able to hold off McWhorter before that caution came out. McWhorter, of course, was going to start on his outside. Barrett Morton will start in fifth, and Craig Bontrager, all these guys, except with the exception of Peyton Howell, are all playoff contenders.
Yep, a lot of these guys very hungry for that win, wanting to lock themselves into the playoffs. Pace car pulls into the pit lane, and Peyton Howell once again leads the field back to green at Richmond.
Oh, Whitley tried to jump the start there, and then he had to check up. And it looks like he was fooled there by Peyton Howell and really had to check up. And I think that was by design by Peyton there, because he wanted that 61, I think, of Duncan Faw to get by, trying to help that 61, but that just checked everybody up, and that has allowed McWhorter to get strong on the outside. We're back under caution.
Peyton Howell red-lighted the 77 as we're taking a look at the 44 at Gary Wright with some front-end damage. That is the 09 of Stephen Davis, one of our playoff drivers, with heavy damage on that car.
Yeah, you can see that right front all crumpled in here. We'll see what happened here. Up high here, coming down. Oh, and the 9 gets.
It looks like George Jewell pushed up from the inside on the corner and just sent him up into the 44. That's just unfortunate positioning on both of them.
Yeah, overhead view here of this as we watch, see exactly what happened. It's probably a better view here. Yeah, it looks like, well, he also didn't come up to the wall. So I expected, if I'm a driver there, kind of thought Stefan would run up to the wall, and he didn't. But that's one of the things you got to look out for. He's holding his line, and if he decides to run a lower line, you got to be ready for that.
Yeah, I know that's caught me out a couple times in different series, but that's going to be painful for a couple of people. That's going to be painful for Davis because he's got to go and get his car fixed. Luckily, he hasn't taken his fast repair yet, but if Jewell is found to be culpable for that incident, he may be given an EOL.
Well, we'll see if any of our leaders head to pit lane. I don't know. Track position's pretty important. Maybe some of the guys further back will probably come in, but all our leaders are staying out right now. We've got a few cars on pit lane getting service, but looks like the bulk of our playoff contenders are staying out all the way back to Wesley Burke, still out on the track.
Yes, indeed. We're 30 laps to go when we come back to green. Actually, we're going to be 29 to go when we come back to green. We're 3/4 of the way through this race. Everybody is on edge, trying to hit that mark, trying to get the good line that you want to run. And if there's a car there, you're going to have to relent and either move off of it or reposition yourself. And the one thing that you don't want to do is make a mistake that affects yourself and others, and that just trying to gas it up a little too soon, into the corner, over-rotate a little too late. Maybe check up the guys behind you. You want to be able to run your line. You want to be able to hit your own marks and make your way through this field toward the end of this one, because we're trying to get we're trying to get a good clean finish here.
Yeah, absolutely. And another reason, talking about going on to pit lane here as we're on the last lap before we go green flag racing again, is track position. We got 19 cars on the lead lap. If you're one of the leaders up there and you go up there and you take fresh tires or whatever, you might be fast, but when you're short track racing, you can't afford to give up all that track position.
You can't burn your stuff up either, especially getting toward the end of this one. 31 laps in the top 6 as the pace car pulls in once again. Peyton Howell leading the field back to green once again at Richmond. Faw gets another good jump tonight.
Yeah, that was a much better start there, much cleaner. I think Whitley was a little bit slower on the gas. It's going to allow the 61 Duncan Faw down on the inside. We'll see if he can get him clear off 2 this time. Whitley strong on the outside, almost gets the wall. Going to go side by side down the backstretch. Whitley going to push it into 3 here. 61 got a little bit of an advantage, but that outside groove here on the front stretch is very strong. We'll see if he's got any advantage going here into 1.
Fall pushed all the way up to Whitley's door, barely leaving him any space before getting into the wall on the backstretch off the restart. Fall gets loose, trying to keep it side by side with the 77. He's got the 72 on the outside now after Whitley gets by.
Yeah, you know, Howell was licking his chops watching those guys behind him race, hoping that they would do that a few more laps so he could check out. But Whitley is clear now. Going to see if Whitley can run him down, but that's allowing McWhorter to come now on the outside. And that inside line just isn't working that well for Duncan Faw right at the moment.
Yep, Duncan Faw doing whatever he can to try and keep himself in this fight. Barrett Morton now starting to try and track them down. McWhorter gets through for 3rd. Wesley Burke now trying to get through on Morton.
Yeah, Wesley Burke up another position. He's currently in that 6th position. You can see he's chasing down Barrett Morton, but it looks like Bontrager might have something to say. Looking to the inside as they go down the backstretch. Couldn't quite get there. But that 04 on a little bit fresher tires, I believe about 10 laps fresher tires, something like that. Trying to get on the inside of the 9 car here. Looks like he is going to get on the inside of Barrett Morton here going into 1. See if he has an advantage on the exit. That outside lane has been pretty strong, but they go side by side down into 3.
Berg is trying as hard as he can to diamond that corner as low as possible, putting his entire left front on that yellow line, trying to get as good an exit as he can. Bontrager waiting for these two to touch each other in between the corners and just slip right by on the bottom.
Yeah, waiting for a mistake for one of these drivers. Maybe he can slip by, but he's kind of blocked right now. No sense taking it 3 wide. All 3 of these drivers are running about the same lap times. They're all pretty competitive, all playoff contenders. They all want these positions desperately. Wesley Burke, though, can't seem to get that. It looks like he might get it cleared here. That 9, he does, gets Barrett Morton cleared. Bontrager now alongside Barrett Morton.
Yep, that space all of a sudden cleared out. Bontrager sending it inside on the 9. Brock Price in the 43 with an incredible run here tonight after that early wreck, fighting for positions in the top 10.
Yeah, the 43, Brock Price, great job by that driver out here tonight. And you can see just behind him, Brandon Wallace had that incident, and he's coming on strong right now at the moment, looking at the back of that 43 car.
It's Kevin Calkins in the 11 behind them, rounding out the top 10. Everybody here lined up single file. We're down to 20 to go at the line next time by. Everybody trying to get back to the end of this race clean. Howell with about a 5/10 of a second lead over Whitley.
Yeah, you can see Peyton Howell. We've seen this position before. He's won the last 2 races. Looks like he's going for 3 in a row at the moment, but he's still quite a few laps, 20 laps to go, but we are short track racing. He's going to get into traffic here probably shortly, I would say. Probably in the next few laps, he'll be dealing with some lap traffic, and that could change things up a little bit for these lead pack drivers. But Wesley Burke, man, coming on strong. Wesley Burke all the way back there in that 5th position now, trying to run down Duncan Faw. So he has caught up to the back of Duncan Faw. We'll see if he continues his upward mobility.
Fastest car on track by lap time right now, still Peyton Howell at the point, rounding around turns 3 and 4. He's got Whitley chasing him down, now about 5.5 tenths behind. McWhorter has been kind of checked out of this conversation by 1.5 seconds, and Faw with the rest of the field about 3 seconds further back behind.
Yeah, Faw, you can see he's under pressure now with Wesley Burke. He's been back there for the last couple of laps looking for a way around. Duncan Faw was struggling down there on the inside, but now we see that 04 Wesley Burke, a little bit fresher tire down on the inside, going across the front stretch. As they head down into 1 and 2, we'll see if Wesley can get the 61 clear on the exit here, but that outside line has been super strong on exit. Doesn't have him.
All that momentum on the outside. Burke trying to cash everything in that they gain on the inside. It's worked well for Burke trying to get further up in the top 10 so far, and he gets around Faw for P4.
Yeah, now what he needs right now, he's quite a distance back. He's about 3 seconds behind the lead. you know, what Wesley having those fresher tires, he's probably going to need a caution. It's only got 16 laps to go. It's quite a distance to run down here, especially when you're talking about Peyton Howell, who's been so strong.
You're going to need a caution or some very heavy lap traffic. I don't think the lap traffic is going to be playing a factor here soon, or at least heavy enough to where it's going to benefit Wesley Burke. They may get about a second back from them trying to maneuver around. Bontrager now looking to the inside of Duncan Fall for that final top 5 spot.
Yeah, I think Duncan Fall might have wore out those tires running with those leaders. So my pick of the night, kind of having some struggles here towards the end of this thing. Bontrager now on the inside. It's like, oh, they touch door handle to door handle there. Close to being an incident there, but they do manage to keep it off each other. Fall into the wall a little bit. Bontrager's got the advantage. He'll take that position going into 3.
I can't wait to see if there's going to be a rebuttal from that one. Meanwhile, the 11 of Kevin Calkins kind of dropping back a little bit. George Jewell and Kyle Deering, 2 guys that were a lot further up here in the race, ending up having some issues early on, fought their way back, and they are currently running 11th and 12th. Kevin Calkins now trying to get back around the 36 of George Jewell.
Yeah, Calkins got a little bit loose there. Couldn't quite get by, and now he's got a car on the outside that Jamie Lipke trying to get that position on the outside. Can't quite get it done. Those cars struggling with grip right now. You can see Kevin Calkins just rear end stepping out there in the middle of the front stretches. Jamie Lipke was trying to get by.
Super loose, trying to dirt track it around the rest of these cars. Some contact with the wall from George Jewell as Kevin Calkins were watching from the inside of his car, trying to chase them back down.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets a little loose here. It looks like he's got it gathered back up. Running pretty solid, but he got to racing a couple drivers there, and that rear end stepped out there. You can see on entry there, that car is super loose. You can see how he had to back off there, and a little bit of counter steering on entry.
Yep, keeps it back the wheel center on the backstretch. Lipke making their way to the inside now. Calkins having to back out of it due to the looseness and just lets the 16 by and have that spot in 13th.
Yeah, he's really struggling with that car right now as we're watching the 36 right now. Trying to make a position up on Kyle Deering in that 50, that orange and white Ford Mustang up there. He gets into the wall. That allows the 36 of George Jewell down on the inside. George Jewell slits up the track a little bit, almost gets into the rear quarter panel of the 50, has to back out, fall back in line.
Loses his momentum, back to square one. He's going to try and run it to the outside once again, try and get a lot more momentum on exit to try and get to the inside of Kyle Deering this time by.
As we ride along here with George Jewell, taking a peek here on the 50, seeing where the weakness is here. Maybe try to pin it down on the inside. Nope. Going to stick right behind him for the moment. Maybe take a peek here on the inside, going into 1. We'll see if he can get a little bit of an advantage here right up on the rear quarter panel. Going to try the undercut here, swing it down to the bottom. They're going to go side by side down the backstretch. 50 into the wall a little bit as they head into 3. That might give the 36 an advantage as they come to the front stretch around turn 4.
Deering tightened up through 1 and 2, but it looks like Jewell tightened up through 3 and 4. Keeps them side by side. Jewell had a bumper to the inside of the 50. Now going into turn 1, Lipke's waiting for these two to hit each other to get right by.
Well, with 7 to go, that's what these guys are doing. That was a close call there. Has to pull the 36. Jamie Lipke just sends it. He sends it right in there, gets up into the outside wall, so she's struggling back there too. These 3 drivers are really going at it with 6 to go.
Thought they were going to fall to the inside with the contact, nothing doing. Lipke makes contact with the wall. George Jewell still fighting to the inside of Kyle Deering.
Best battle on the track right now is the battle for 12th and 11th. These guys are going at it right now. Jamie Lipke back there in the hunt now with these two still side by side. 36 trying to find an advantage, but again has to back out of it. We'll see down on the rear quarter panel of the 3. Oh, they get together, sends the 50 up the hill. The 50 of Kyle Deering will have to get that position. He's going to have to really hold on to hold off Jamie Lipke, which she falls back in line.
He might be going for almost gets to the back bumper of the 36 at high speed there. Almost making a response to that contact. We got 5 to go on track as Peyton Howell has checked out from the 77 of Mark Whitley.
Yeah, just showing dominance the last few races, doing it again here tonight. But this is a great battle here right now. Jamie Lipke, she's trying to get on the inside of Kyle Deering here. Kyle Deering obviously got pushed up, got into the wall there, and now struggling. I think those tires are really hard on that 50. and I think that might be all the tire that 50 car has to offer, but he's just going to challenge back, really sends it really loose on the entry of that corner and almost gets sideways on entry. That 50 is trying to do his best to hang on to that position.
He is trying to make it to the end of this race on bald tires. He is digging that wheel in as far as he can. He's got the 11 of Kevin Calkins chasing him down. 2 to go at the line for both of these drivers.
Wow, what a run Peyton Howell has had. He's won the two of the last races this season. He's not a contender in the playoffs, but we got the white flag. Just a dominant performance. Started on the pole, and he's coming very close to winning this thing here again tonight.
Next flag ends the race through a little bit of lap traffic. Peyton Howell doesn't need to push aggressively on anybody as he makes it 3 in a row with a win here at Richmond.
Going across the start-finish line sideways. Wow, what a drive by Peyton Howell again. I mean, he's starting to show complete dominance out here. It's almost hard to believe how talented this driver is right now. He's got, he had Mark Whitley behind him, who obviously finished in second, and then Joseph McWhorter, a couple of really strong drivers. Both those drivers have ran up front all season, but Peyton Howell shows up this season, gets 3 races in a row, so these guys are he's really showing these guys how to get it done.
What a run for Peyton Howell. We had some late cautions. We had some early cautions in this one. Had a few toward the middle. Everything cycled out. Some strategy shuffled in. We watched Peyton fighting for that front spot the entire time, and I don't think there was any doubt. He's got the pole, made it to the win. When we come back, we're going to take a look at our unofficial results, and then we're going to get an interview with our winner and the rest of our podium. We'll be right back.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. Invets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. Invets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about Invets, visit us at invets.org today.
We are back live at Richmond International Speedway. What a finish. Peyton Howell, 3 in a row is your winner here tonight once again. Mark Whitley will finish second, still winless on the season. Joseph McWhorter third. Wesley Burke, what a fight back for that 4th position. Craig Bontrager held on tough for a top 5. Duncan Faw will finish in 6th. Barrett Morton 7th. Brock Price will finish in 8th. Brandon Wallace 9th. Daniel Parks in that last 10th position.
George Jewell finishes 11th. Jamie Lipke in P12. Kyle Deering in 13th. Kevin Calkins rolls off in the 14th position. Devontae Drain rounds out the top 15. Chuck Feltz in 16th. Dave Calvert in 17th. Frederick Seagraves in 18th. Wyatt Dooling a lap down in 19th. And Gary Wright P20.
Charles Abert will finish P21. Cody Turner, 22nd. Colton Sis will finish 23rd. Claire Sis, 24th. Stephen Davis will finish in the 25th spot. Kevin Price, 26th. Corin Smith will finish 27th. Stephen Purcell will finish 28th. And Armando Melgosa will finish in the last 29th starter on the field.
All right, and we will get right into it with an interview with our winner, Peyton Howell. This is Jake Linky in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
3 wins in a row. I don't think there was very much doubt you weren't going to be a force tonight. You put it on pole, stayed up front all race long. We saw some key restarts from your perspective. Take us through it.
Yeah, I didn't put any practice laps in, and I haven't ran this combo in forever. So, the first run was just all about learning and seeing what Mark and Joseph do and all that, and just trying to figure out how to save tires and be fast. And felt like we were pretty good at the end of the run. I feel bad for putting Mark 3 when I did with the lap cars, but had to take a run when I got the chance because it's really difficult to pass around here. But yeah, those restarts at the end were just you got to hit your marks on the start and not miss a shift or anything. And we did that and just was able to run away those final 20 laps.
Yep, that move that you pulled on Whitley to the inside of him and the on the lap car was the move of the race that put you up there. Was the lap traffic giving you any trouble at all tonight?
No, not really. I feel like everybody got out of the way for the most part. It was just trying to figure out what lane they were going to be in before you got there, and sometimes they'd be a little slow off exit, but it wasn't much of a problem all night.
Yes, sir. You showed up. You showed everybody how fast you are, and that you're a force in this series for time to come. Who do you have to thank for putting you on the podium?
Yeah, I got to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Invets for putting on the series, Indiana Department of Veterans, um, and then everybody on the core, Unrivaled Innovations, Icon, Florida Estate Builders, Celsius, Nerditudes, HelloFresh, Race Stop Suicide, y'all for putting on the broadcast, um, everybody all the admins for this league, Wyatt for letting me join and run the season, and yeah.
3 races in a row, 3 wins for Peyton Howell. Thank you for your time. Congrats on the win. We'll see you at Texas.
So y'all have a good one.
All right, Ken, who do you got coming up into the booth?
So, well, we'll talk to our second place finish there, Mark Whitley. So, Mark Whitley, we sat up here in the booth. We watched the whole race. We've seen everything that happened. I got to ask you, though, what's it going to take for you to get a win this season?
Apparently a golden horseshoe or something because nothing, no strategy, no anything's working out so far. Just coming up short every week. It feels like.
Well, you're doing a great job out there. I mean, you're being super consistent. You are up there in the points, but you're probably going to need a win sometime this season, especially in the playoffs here.
Yeah, I figured this is going to be one of our best chances to get it. It was just this one of my better tracks. Usually have a decent handle on the setup. I led most of the beginning of the race, and then we could finally get that long green flag run, and I was lifting so early trying to save enough gas where I could make it on one stop because I figured we could make it to about 51 or 2. We had all those cautions. I was just trying to stretch it out as far as I could so I wouldn't have to save it in the last run. And Peyton, once you get around Joe, I'm like, all right, I'm just taking it probably 60%, just chilling. I was going to let him go, and then he dove it in underneath when I was underneath the lap car. But if I'd have known the rest of the race was going to be like that, I probably would have just went balls to the wall and stayed out in front because it was after that, it was just a matter of we kept getting those short runs, and I guess I don't know if it was his teammate. It seemed like it was his teammate. They were getting really good jumps on the restart, and I had to really use the stuff up to get around him. And by that point, he was half a second ahead, and I used up
Yeah.
too much of my stuff and just didn't have anything for him. I guess P2's good. Playoffs are here, so if you can't win it, P2's second best. So
Can't beat it. And
um,
but Peyton Howell is not in the contender for the playoffs. So you're doing what you need to do. Who do you have to thank for getting this podium finish tonight?
Yeah, first and foremost, all the league sponsors here: Jam Printing and Promotions, Invets, y'all for putting on the V Speed for putting on the great broadcast, Alexander PCs. League wouldn't, without all them, League wouldn't be here. I'm glad to be here. It's been fun to join here, run all these different series. Shout out to my sponsor, Brantley Harpoon Design. He's up on the spotter stand every week. He also in the paint booth, giving me paint schemes whenever I need one. About time to break out a new one. I think I've need to get some new better mojo or something. Shout out to him. So if you need a paint job, check him out, harpoondesign.com. My other sponsor, Jawa.gg. If you need a new PC or an upgrade to go with that new paint scheme, check them out at Jawa.gg. They're number one online gaming marketplace, and they'll hook you up really good. And I guess final shout out to all the people that tune in these broadcasts of races. It really adds a air of realism to this sim racing deal. All my guys, that tune in from over there on Harpoon Chat, Vector, Daryl, Christian, all them guys, appreciate them tuning in. And I think that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll look forward to seeing what you can do out here next week.
Sounds good,
That
guys.
was Mark Whitley there, Jacob. So I think you're standing by with our third place finisher.
Yes, indeed. Joseph McWhorter, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
We saw you put together about as complete a race as you possibly could. I think the lowest you fell was either 5th or 4th. Take us through that.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to this race tonight, but I don't know, the setup and I just wasn't really vibing very well. Real slidey. I didn't feel very connected with the front end. So I was kind of struggling all night. I just couldn't figure out how Peyton was able to just drive in so deep every lap and it just not kill the tires. It's like Las Vegas again. Like I just saw him drive in so deep last week every lap, and I could never figure out how it wasn't killing his tires. So just ran where we could and gained the points that we could, and just focus, big picture, not take any risks. We had some late race restarts there. I don't know if Call was his teammate or not, but that was making things a little bit tricky with Mark on the outside. Mark wasn't timing it very well against Peyton, and he had one where it just didn't go in fourth gear and ran to the back of him. I don't know if it gave me nose damage or not. I didn't see any, but I was real tight after that, and I just completely lost both of them once I got around the 61. Kind of frustrating night as much as I love this track and just struggled, kind of frustrating. I've had really good runs here lately, and I thought the last few times that I've been here, the top and the middle were the dominant lanes. So I was kind of surprised by it being the bottom again. So everything that I've learned over the last like 4 starts here, you just throw out the window and start again.
Well, it's a good thing. The good news is Howell's not eligible for the championship. You finished second best out of the playoff runners. Who do you have to thank to put you in third place on the podium?
Yeah, I just want to thank Outlier Speed Co. Amazing partner, Johnny and the boys over there building some really good race cars. So go check them out at outlierspeedco.com. You can also check them out in the pinned comment below on this live stream, or go check them out at outlierspeedco.com. Red Camera Racing, go check them out at redcameraracing.com. Fire suit, shoes, helmets, anything that you need for a race weekend, they've got it. Redcameraracing.com. 29 Graphics on Trady Paints. My teammate Mark, everybody at Driven Motorsports, Jonathan Smith, Daniel Lawson, everybody. You guys for putting on the broadcast. All of our partners here at GLR, MK Fire Design, Sim Motion, and Invets. Big shout out to everybody there. All the admins for hard work and drivers for a clean race. Ready to get into next week.
Yes, sir. Good finish tonight. We'll see you at Texas.
Yep, thank you.
Well, Jacob, as we close out this broadcast, what a fine race. What a great way to start off the season. Next week, we're going to be at Texas. It should be quite exciting. I know it's not everyone's favorite track, especially with the newer configuration. I want to say it's probably 10 years old now, but definitely turn 1 and 2 is a lot harder than it used to be.
I will tell you, first and foremost, with having won the AM race there in ARCA this season, it is a favorite of mine regardless. Thank you to everybody at V-Speed for helping us put this together. Myself is Jacob Blanke. Thank you to Ken Huber, Eddie Smith in the booth, Dougie Beard with the cameras. We appreciate everything that goes into the broadcast here. We have to thank the sponsors that help us put this together. Invets, building strong futures for Indiana veterans. Lincoln Tech, put your potential to work. Save 22, struggling, let's talk. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a good rest of your week.
Good night, everybody.